Another agenda.
Yeah, I thought you would deliver them, but I guess not.
I'm sorry, man. I only get it on
I'm not on your.
Don't worry, I'm moving up.
I'm not on your paper road, huh?
I'm moving you up, man.
Okay,
You
thank
do
you.
it.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Red Bank Council meeting for September 11, 2019. Notice of this meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231. An adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by notice sent to the Asbury Park Press, River Times, and Star Ledger, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the municipal website. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for a moment. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we gather this evening on September 11th, and I know we had our borough-wide commemoration of the tragic events of the attack on the United States and our residents, let us remember those, all of the individuals who died in various places on September 11th. Remember especially their families, their loved ones, their friends, because the pain that they endured has never been abated. The pain endures in all of them. But I think our memory should also be endured. And let us not forget, even in our sorrow, the Herculean and brave efforts of all emergency service personnel, of whatever type, whether they were in uniform or ununiformed, civilians of every ilk who assisted for so long. Their efforts should never be forgotten also because they answered the call at the time of duty. So let us pause for a second to remember those who have perished, their families, and those who have and continue to assist. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilman Yassin?
Here.
Councilwoman Triviano?
Here.
Councilman Ballard?
Here.
Councilman Yingstrom?
Here.
Councilman Zipprich? Here. Councilwoman Horgan?
Here.
Thank you. We have just finished a workshop session of the council. We do seem to have a rather long agenda. However, after having reviewed many of the matters in workshop and discussed it with our council and governing body members and staff, some of the matters that are listed currently on the agenda will be moved en masse because they are technical and perfunctory in nature, and they seem to have no issues. With respect to ordinances this evening, number 5, there is currently on the agenda ordinance 2019-58. It is an ordinance authorizing the naming of a street in accordance with New Jersey Statute Administrative 40:67-1K. There will be an amendment to that ordinance. The amendment will reflect that the name of that ordinance name change would be to something which correctly reflects the location and also the situs of that particular new court that will be developed at some point. And so the name will be changed to Ice Boat Lane in recognition of the long-standing presence of the Monmouth County Ice Boat, which has been an iconic presence for the borough of Red Bank. It also is reflected on our seal behind us. Most people think it's a sailboat. It's actually an ice boat, for those of us who don't know the real difference. But it is an ice boat, and so the name will be changed to Ice Boat Lane. So that will be a technical change, so it will be referenced as an introductory measure. The public hearing on that would thereafter be at the next council meeting, but that change will be effectuated this evening. Other than that, we also have an addition to our council agenda, and came up very late, but it's one of those things you can't say no, especially when somebody's giving you money with no strings. So we do have a check presentation for the Red Bank 5K, which is now a standing tradition and succeeded the George Sheehan run, and is also extraordinarily popular and brings in so many different facets of our community. So we have some representatives from, Mr. Scavone is here. Angela, Eric said it was 20,000. Why did they want to say 10?
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, this past June, the Red Bank Business Alliance, Red Bank River Center, partnered with both Parks and Rec and the Community Y for the second annual 5K. We had a really, really successful event, over 1,000 runners, and we raised $10,000 that we would like to present to the borough for the Parks and Rec Department.
Look at me and I'll go away. Thank you. Got it?
Did we break the count?
Just want to make sure nobody's asking us.
Thank you, Andrew. Courtney, would you like to say something on behalf of the Business Alliance? And, I mean, you spearheaded this with River Center.
It's my pleasure. I mean, it's such a great event for the town and the community, and we're just very proud to be a part of it. So
Thank you.
More candid shots.
Thank you. Just for a point of clarification, is there anyone here on behalf of the Hunger Action Month Coalition, or anybody here on Prostate Cancer Awareness Month? Okay, so we will be acting on those, and I'll be reading them at the end of the meeting, but since there are a lot of people here, let's move on to the regular form. So we do have a presentation this evening from Dr. Rummage with respect to the referendum presentation and the Lighthouse Award. So why don't I do the Lighthouse Award first? Right. The Red Bank Borough Public School District was one of 11 school districts to receive the prestigious distinction of Lighthouse District by the New Jersey Department of Education, an honor which recognizes substantial academic improvement. Whereas the award term from July 2019 to July 2021, officials from Lighthouse districts will have the opportunity to participate in professional learning and networking opportunities between Lighthouse districts and other districts, and take part in diversity and inclusion training and provide insight to the NJDOE through policy discussions. And whereas Education Commissioner Dr. Lamont Repollet has said that Lighthouse districts can serve as beacons of success for public education in New Jersey. We recognize Lighthouse districts for tremendous academic gains, for demonstrating that all schools can excel and all students can achieve. And whereas this distinction validates the work we are doing as a school community, said Superintendent of Schools Dr. Jared Rummage, I am grateful to work in such a supportive community with such talented and compassionate educators, and for the kindest and the most talented students in America. We will continue to strive to be the best in America so that we will always be the best for Red Bank. Now therefore I must call Madam Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank to hereby commend Red Bank Borough Public Schools, the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Jared Rummage, the Board of Education members, and parents, staff members, principals, students, caregivers, for the tremendous strides the district has made to receive such a prestigious recognition. And on behalf of all of the residents of the Borough of Red Bank, thank them for their efforts to provide wonderful opportunities for the youth of our community and guiding them toward a successful future. We have the entire family here, it looks like. So, Kathy, would you like to try? Dr. Stone.
I would like to get everybody up here, but they won't come.
Come on.
Come on, Joe. Come on, Aaron.
You're coming back already.
Come on.
Any parents too? What about parents? Yeah, we should just sit down. Yeah.
Tall people in
Yeah, this is the whole audience. The more the merrier. We're gonna have a big party. Hi, Janet.
Sorry.
I'm tall guys on the other side.
You're tall.
Can't see you in the back. Luigi. Can't see you.
You planned that.
You know my face looks like. Look at me.
Okay, 1, 2. Carol.
Meow, 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 meow.
Is that yes? Okay.
I'm around, see you around.
Social media.
So I honor to invite Dr. Jared Rummage to make a presentation with respect to the current.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for that special recognition. Before I start, I'd just like to thank the borough mayor and council members for affording us this opportunity and forum tonight to speak about our referendum, but also for the partnerships that we have put together over the past 5 years. Parks and Rec and Charlie and Oscar have been a great asset to our school community, helping us with new teacher orientation just a few weeks ago. DPU, Cliff, Z, and Richie and the team did an excellent job helping us clean up the Red Bank Primary School and make it look on the outside just as beautiful as it does on the inside for our students. And Chief McConnell and his team have helped us out with our movie night kicking off the school year, and also had a great presence so far this year in our schools to make sure our community feels safe attending school. I'd also like to thank the members of the council that are also integral part of our Red Bank Borough Education Foundation for all that they do to support our schools. And on a special note, it's great that we have a sitting council member, I don't know when this was last, but that has a child in our school district, as we have Otto as a kindergarten in our primary school. So it's exciting, very exciting. So we're here tonight to talk about the referendum, November 5th, 2019 referendum vote. First off, I just want to start with a legal statement. Number one, we cannot advocate for the referendum or against the referendum, obviously. The information that we're providing tonight is accurate and it is not confidential. It's very public. It's on our website. There's information outside that you can take with you when you leave this evening. And please visit our website because there's additional information beyond this presentation tonight that we would love for you to review. Pardon me.
Thanks for not letting me use my clippers, eh?
So I'd just like to talk a little bit about the RBB's BIA story, which stands for Red Bank Borough is Best in America. I started saying that when I came here in July of 2014, and we have strived to be the best school district in America so that we can be the best for Red Bank. It's an attitude, it's a mindset that we have. Our daily mantra is dream big, we will help you get there. We want our students to be inspired. We want our students to dream big. And we want to make sure that we provide everything they need to achieve those dreams. As we just were recognized for our Lighthouse District, I'd like just to congratulate our staff and our students for the job that they did. 600 school districts in the state of New Jersey. We were one of 11 that was honored with this distinction. Thank you. There's a team of people who have collaborated so well together over the past 5 years, and I think this validates all the work that we've done as a community. So proud to serve and work for this community and school district, and the honor is really an unbelievable achievement for all of us. So real quick, we have preschool through 8th grade. We have 6 preschool locations with 18 classrooms and 254 students. We have Red Bank Primary School, which serves preschool through 3rd grade, and we have 560 students at that facility. We also have Red Bank Middle School, which serves 4th through 8th grade with 656 students and a total of 90 staff members. And I'd just like to point out a few honors that we've won over the past few years. We've had 5 teachers who've been recognized as New Jersey Department of Education exemplary educators. We also have our principal, Mr. Lagelli, who's now the assistant superintendent, who was recognized as an exemplary elementary educator. We have Ms. Iozzi in the audience tonight, who in 2014 was the state's Visionary Leadership Award winner and also the National Distinguished Principal Representative in Washington, D.C. Our 8th graders won a Service Learning Award for their work with lunch break in 2017, and we're very proud of the staff that we have. Nearly 60% of our staff members have advanced degrees, and nearly 60% hold multiple certifications as well. Just recently, 2 of our teachers, actually an instructional coach and one of our kindergarten teachers, earned their doctorates by defending their dissertations from Rutgers University. We have 1 more pending, which is exciting news. Real quick, some things that have happened over the past 5 years. In 2008-9, you can see by this chart, we had 924 students. Today we have over 1,400 students in Red Bank Borough Public Schools. You've heard about underfunding. I don't know if everybody really understands what that means, but the underfunding has been chronic. We've been funded at about 33% for the majority of my years here in Red Bank. Just recently that was bumped up to 58%, and for this year we're funded at about 63%. But we're talking about over $33 million that our children did not receive. While other school districts, including charter schools throughout the state, were operating at 100% funded or 150%, 200, 250%, you name it. It was an extreme disservice to our community and our students. Tax levy increase rate. I know when I came into this position 5 years ago, the tax levy increase was at 9.98%. As you can see, over the past 5 years, we have done our due diligence to make sure that we decrease that levy increase rate and get it closer to the 2% cap. I think our Board of Education, the #1 priority for them is to provide an outstanding educational environment for our students, but we're very cognizant of the impact that has on our local taxpayers. We also have to flow through money for a charter school payment. The chart here depicts how much we pay to the charter school on an annual basis. The money's delivered from the state and from the local tax levy. Out of that money, this money gets delivered to the charter school for what I would consider educational redundancies or duplicative costs. So you would think by all these challenges that we would struggle academically, that our academic performance would be subpar. But due to creativity, strong school leadership, highly credentialed staff, and kind, talented students, we have found a way to consistently improve. The chart here shows from 2015 to 18, a cohort of 5th through 8th grade students, and it shows their proficiency on the PARCC assessment. As 3rd graders in 2015, only 24% of those students passed the assessment or were proficient in the assessment. In 2018, as 6th graders, 58% of those students were proficient, 2 percentage points higher than the state average. Thank you, that gave me time to fumble with the mouse. And I'm showing a few slides, but this is indicative of our cohorts across the board. Here's just another example. 5th grade, 2015, 24% of our students were proficient. In 2018, as 8th graders, 62% proficient. Again, 2 percentage points higher than the state. So how does that happen? Building culture, extremely important. We talk about safety, we talk about learning, and we talk about inspiring students. Deliberate budgeting. When we budget, it's a reflection of our values. It's not numbers, it's what we need to do for our students to make this community safe, to make our students learn, and to inspire them to dream big dreams. It's about being proactive, seeking financial and supply donations. And it's about leveraging partnerships, connecting with local organizations to provide the resources for supplementary educational programs. If you see here, this is from our website. These are some of the partnerships that we've established over the last decade. I'd like to talk about a few of those partnerships, point out a few. The Red Bank Borough Education Foundation in the past 5 years has raised over $80,000 and much more over the past decade for our school district. The Jay and Linda Grunin Foundation has donated over $30,000 for athletics and arts integration programs. And then the list below, Count Basie Theater Project right now, Horizons, United Way, the Community YMCA, which is now the Greater of Monmouth, I don't have the correct name there. Sickles, Bridge of Books, all donated services and supplemental programs at no cost to our students to support a robust educational environment for our children. And it's not just the leadership that is engaging in these partnerships, it's our teachers on the ground level as well. Just last year alone, our teachers utilized DonorsChoose to garner $17,000 in donations for instructional technology, educational kits, sports and athletic equipment, flexible classroom seating, and books for classroom libraries. So one might ask, well, why do we have to go to referendum? Why can't you take care of these projects through your budget? Well, most school districts that are in good financial position do not have the opportunity to do this through their general budget. They mostly go to referendum. We are in a very difficult situation because of the chronic underfunding. And what we have been doing over the last 5 years is a lot of projects that were necessary to maintain our buildings and improve our buildings, including adding 6 classrooms at Red Bank Middle School, replacing 34 HVAC units at the primary school, 15 units at the middle school with plans to do about 12 more over the next 2 years. We changed all the exterior lighting to LED. We installed washers and dryers at both our sites, or we're in the process of doing that. We upgraded the middle school for security vestibule, and we are in the process of putting a new security vestibule at the primary school. We've done numerous classroom security upgrades, worked with the borough to put in the emergency access path down at the primary school, and we've had general maintenance and upkeep, not just on the projects that we have currently for the referendum, being the roof, the HVACs, and the windows, but other projects as well. I think what's important to note too is we do this with transparency and we do it with accountability. 2 years running now, we have earned the Certificate of Excellence from ASBO for our financial reporting, and that is specifically about transparency and accountability, so we're doing things the right way. So real quick, I'll just run through how we came to this point. We did a facilities assessment with the support of our architect, identifying the condition of existing facilities. It included site features and amenities, the building envelope, sustainability, program needs, and also building systems. We identified priority 1 items that are needed to be addressed within the next 2 years, emergent items related to health, security, safety, and compliance with code, items that are necessary to maintain the integrity of the building and provide energy efficient and reliable systems. So the architect identified $21 million in priority 1 projects. Obviously, not a viable option for us to go to the community for a bond for $21 million. We are proposing a bond for $6.75 million. What are the projects? First is the primary school, and to keep it simple, we're replacing the roof, over 25 years old, and HVACs that are almost inaccessible underneath the roof that are also over 25 years old. And at the middle school, a complete replacement of the windows, again, over 25 years old. So the key points, these are priority 1 items only, meaning they need to be done immediately. Roof, windows, HVAC units. We are approved for up to 40% state funding. We will likely get at least 34%, but up to 40%. We've opted to forego a special election, which would have cost us $15,000 approximately. We've opted to forego hiring a public relations firm, saving us $10,000, which is why I'm here tonight doing this presentation. We opted to forego additional priority 1 projects, as I mentioned, which total $14 million. And we have retiring debt of approximately exactly the same amount as the bonds we're putting forth. So the vote's November 5th. Once it passes, we'll be in the planning period through March. Phase 1 will begin in June of 2020, and Phase 2 will be completed in June of 2021. So if it fails, the work still needs to be completed. It's a roof, it's windows, it's HVACs. We don't have a choice. We will not have the ability to apply for state aid or debt service aid. The entire cost will be locally funded through our budget. And the projects will be completed over an extended period of time, because we'll need to do them in piecemeal. So we would do the roof per se in over 3 years at the primary school, and the windows over 3 years at the middle school, increasing the costs. So a project that right now is $6.75 million and 40% funded by the state could cost this community closer to $9 million if we did it that way. And why now? It addresses our critical needs, takes advantage of the debt service aid. There's no guarantee that that funding will be available to us in the future. There's zero tax impact due to the retiring debt. There's historically low interest rates right now. We don't know what they'll exactly be at the point of bond, but right now we're in good shape. We're bundling projects so that we have economy of scale, and it reduces the impact on our annual maintenance budget because we're consistently trying to deal with these projects. So we talked about priority one. That's the real priority one, right? For all of us, the kids. And I don't know how well you can all see this picture, but this is the wooden soffit at the primary school. It's rotted. There's our priority one. That's what they come to school to. You can see the leaders disconnected from the gutters. Leaders without gutters. Priority one. Rotted soffits again. Fascia exposed. Leaders without gutters, and these gutters are residential gutters, they're not industrial gutters, which we will be putting into the school district priority one. We have water damaged interior windows. Again, the wooden and the bird cage, soffit rotting away, peeling away, damaged windows. You can see, you probably cannot see this, but this is replacement pieces here, part of our maintenance, ongoing maintenance. Priority one, of course. And then cracked masonry, rusted lentils around the window, cracked masonry, and once again, over 25 years old, these windows. So these are projects that if it was your house, you would be doing them immediately. Priority one. This is the HVAC units underneath the roof at the primary school I'm speaking about. The drip pan here is eroded, so the condensate cannot collect. We've been spraying Flex Seal on it for about 5 years, or at least since I've been here, because it's inaccessible. So when we put the new HVACs in, we'll create an environment where they will be accessible for maintenance. Priority one, I love that pick. Ms. Bohm, I'm sure you love that pick too. And this is what I mean by inaccessible. That's the same unit. You can't get to the units to provide maintenance. So we've had an amazing run the past 5 years. I love being a part of this community. I love this school district. I love our kids. I really believe in the best in America mindset, and we're ramping up to have an even better 5 years in the future. We want to be the best in America so that we can guarantee that we're the best for our students, we're the best for our families, and we're best for this community, the best for Red Bank. Vote is November 5th, and that's 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. We hope everyone gets out to vote. And I can see this is not my best work here. I know my professors at Villanova, my marketing professors, are probably cringing, but we're looking to raise the roof for our students and provide a clear window into their future. I realize that was long. I really do appreciate the time and the forum to provide this information. Information's outside when you leave, and it's on our website. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out anytime. And thank you all for your support in helping us earn the distinction of a Lighthouse District.
Thank you very much, Doctor. And I thank each of the partners of the school district for being here, not just the staff, but also the board, parents, people who volunteer, and do I see any students out there? But I'm sure they're with us in spirit. So we will not feel offended if you wish to return to your normal activities on a beautiful Wednesday night, and we won't be offended, but you're welcome to stay. Thank you. Thank you, Principal. That baby's looking for you tonight. Just following up on what had previously been announced, there is something else under item number 2, which is proclamations, announcements, and presentation. There's a notation that there will be a parking meter public presentation. That is not this evening. That public presentation will be on September 18th at 5:30 p.m. here. So that's just for notification purposes. Any members of the public wish to make any comments with respect to any agenda items only? None. Ms. Gregory.
Melissa Gregory, 109 Bank Street.
Jonathan Penny, 55 Prospect Avenue.
So we just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for your decision on naming the alleyway, I guess, Ice Boat Club Way. I want to thank you on behalf of myself, residents of Red Bank that had previously spoken up at the last workshop meeting. And then just to go on record, I do have a letter that I'll present to the mayor from Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Thank you.
You have on your
I'll give it to the clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Penny, can you just repeat your address for me? I didn't get it when you said it. Your address?
Yeah, normally we have one person at a time, but it's okay. Yeah, that's
55 Prospect Avenue.
I got it.
Unit 12.
Thank you, sir.
And just for clarification, it's Ice Boat Way, not Ice Boat Club Way. This is not connected to the club.
No, it's Ice Boat Lane.
Well, I'm just making clarification that there's no club in it,
Right.
correct? Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, so let's move right on to the agenda part. Motion with respect to the workshop meeting minutes of August 14, 2019. Motion? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Regular meeting minutes for August 21st, 2019. Motion? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion for special meeting minutes of August 27, 2019. Motion? Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Great. Then we'll move on to the ordinances. We have ordinance 2019-56, which is an ordinance supplementing and revising the general ordinances of the Borough of Red Bank to insert new section 680-20 under chapter 680 of Vehicles and Traffic to provide for the designation of certain municipal parking spaces for compact cars only. We never had that before, and I believe it is necessary, so is there a motion to introduce?
Motion.
Second. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Public hearing, Pam, will be when? Oh, I'm sorry. We've had a workshop meeting, we've had too many ordinances, and I'm not even looking at my house. This is the public meeting on that, a public hearing on that. Any members of the public wish to be heard on this? If not, motion to close? Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion to adopt? Second. Roll call.
Councilman Yassin?
Yes.
Councilwoman Trigiano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Yingstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zipridge?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horgan?
Yes.
The ordinance is adopted. Next, we have the compact ordinance also, which is the bookend ordinance, that which is ordinance 2019-57, to insert new section 680-54 with respect to the compact car parking only as part of our published ordinances. Any members of the public wish to be heard on this? If not, motion to close? Second? All in favor? Motion to adopt ordinance 2019-57. Second. Roll call.
Councilman Yassin?
Yes.
Councilwoman Trigiano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Yingstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zipridge?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horgan?
Ordinance is adopted. With respect to ordinance 2019-58, an ordinance authorizing the naming of a street in accordance with NJSA 40:67(1)K, there should be a motion to technically amend that ordinance to insert the name of that particular street in accordance with the statute to, quote, Ice Boat Lane. Is there a motion to amend? Second. All in favor to that amendment? Aye. Okay, having amended the ordinance, we now have to essentially have a public hearing on it at the next council meeting. So that ordinance is amended, and therefore this will be considered the first hearing on the ordinance, and the public hearing, Pam, will be when? Yeah, we will, but just, so this will actually be entertained formally on September 26th. Okay, so. All right, motion and the second, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Then we'll go on to first readings on a number of technical ordinances, and we'll go through them. These are just only for introduction. The public hearing on all of these ordinances that we'll be discussing will be on September 25th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. The first is Ordinance 2019-60, which is an ordinance that amends and supplements Chapter 490 of the planning regulations regarding and relating to motor vehicle service stations in the HV zone. What this proposed ordinance does is it expands the type of commercial activities that could be permitted, but excludes or prohibits any drive-up or drive-in facilities for fast food establishments. So is there a motion to introduce?
Motion.
Second. Second. Roll call?
I'm sorry, Mayor, I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
The HB zone is basically Newman Springs Road, am I correct?
That is correct, sir.
And does that extend only from Route 35 west to Shrewsbury Avenue, or does it include the entirety of Newman Springs Road?
My recollection is that it extends to the property that is on Shrewsbury Avenue and Newman Springs Road. Not to the, not to the western part of Newman Springs Road.
It's only the gas station.
Yeah.
So the HB zone, to be clear, is only from Shrewsbury Avenue heading east to Route 35.
Yeah. Okay, with that clarification, there's been a motion and a second. Roll call?
Councilman Hussein?
Yes.
Councilwoman Triviano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Youngstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zipridge?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horgan?
Yes.
All right, now we go to ordinance 2019-61, which is also an ordinance that amends and supplements Chapter 490 of the Planning and Development Regulations relating to automobile uses in the NB CCD-2 BR1 and BR2 zones. And what this ordinance does is it clarifies that in those particular zones, drive-up facilities or drive-through facilities would be prohibited, and also it removes motor vehicle diagnostic and service facilities. So with that, which has been provided to everybody, is there a motion to introduce?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Councilman Hussein?
Yes.
Councilwoman Triviano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Youngstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zipridge? Councilwoman Horgan?
Yes.
All right. Then there's ordinance 2019-62, which is the ordinance amends and supplements Chapter 490 of the planning regulations relating to the introduction of train station zoning district as part of the overlay zone, and has rather extensive classification regarding what would be considered part of the train station district. Is there a motion to introduce?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Hussein?
Yes.
Councilwoman Triviano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Youngstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zipridge? Councilwoman Horgan?
Yes.
Next is ordinance 2019-63. And 2019-63 is also an amendment of planning and development regulations with respect to relating to design standards within the designated transit village or train station zone. Is there a motion to produce?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Hussein?
Yes.
Councilwoman Triviano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Youngstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zipridge?
Yes.
Councilwoman Horgan?
Yes.
The following ordinances, which are ordinance 2019-64, 2019-65, and 2019-66. All of these ordinances are relating to the acquisition of the easements as part of the White Street English Plaza development, which we had been doing on a regular basis because they had never been done for dozens or decades before. So we're formalizing it, and there's no reason why we should go through each individual ordinance. We can introduce all three, even though they're separate ordinances, en masse, and then the public hearing on all of those will be on September 25, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Hussein?
Yes.
Councilwoman Triviano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Youngster?
Yes.
Councilman Zipperich?
Yep.
Councilwoman Horgan?
Yes.
All right, no other ordinances. We go on to resolutions. Resolution 19-212 with respect to payment of bills. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, with respect to resolutions 19-213, 19-214, 215, 216, 217, 218, 219, 220, 221, 222, 223, 224, and actually up to 224. I see no reason why they should not be moved en masse since they're perfunctory resolutions, which we have already discussed in workshop. Is there any reason to pull any one of those?
Yes, Mayor.
Which one?
Item I, regarding the multi-space pay stations. You said earlier that on September 18th, we will be having a presentation regarding these meetings. So I asked that we table this resolution.
That's a separate thing over here.
This has nothing to do with these pay stations. So
We talked about that in workshop.
September 18th is going to be the meters, the on-street meters. These are pay stations just for English Plaza.
Okay. I'm going to abstain on I.
Okay.
So we cannot move them in on.
Okay, so all right, so is there a motion to move all of those resolutions by way of one motion en masse with the caveat that the clerk will record it with respect to resolution 19-220, Councilman Ballard is abstaining.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor with the abstention?
Aye.
Okay, we got it done. So since we have a bunch of agendas here.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Did you include 225 in that online?
I did not include 225.
No, I wasn't paying attention. My apologies.
Okay, so are we ready to move on to 225?
I think we discussed in the workshop that this was an executive session.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's why I didn't include it. All right, now with respect to resolution 226, accepting resolution of Field Inspector Kevin McDonald, is there a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution 227, authorizing the purchase of a prefab building as part of the capital project Freeside Park and Mohawk Pond renovations approved by ordinance 2017-19. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there any additional resolutions? No. And then we'll carry 19 to 25 to executive session, okay? With respect to Mayor and Council comments, Michael, anything?
Yes, Mayor, I don't have a full report for the Finance and Personnel Committee, although we did meet last Wednesday. I will have a more full report at our next meeting.
Thank you. Ed?
Just quickly, because we do have a lot of folks from, associated with public schools in the audience. The Red Bank Borough Education Foundation is holding their annual casino night on Friday, November 1st at the Elks Club, and tickets will be available through rbbef.org.
Thank you. Kathy?
No, Jared already gave my report.
Get the expert. Thank you. Okay.
No report.
Thank you. Gary?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just had one thing to report. Our Halloween parade is going to be Sunday, October 20th at 2 p.m. So start spreading the word, and hopefully everybody can be there.
Thank you. What's your costume?
Other side.
I did just want to say, you know, I've been speaking with some residents who, they've gotten back to me and told me, you know, they had a few complaints regarding code, and everything was taken care of, and everything was investigated. They were very happy with how things turned out. So I do want to thank the code department. I want to thank Tommy, Frankie, you know, Zemans, everybody in there. I think we're doing a really good job of clearing all the complaints that come in, making sure we're doing a professional job of investigating everything and making sure it's all taken care of. So thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Okay. I thank everybody who was able to make the 9/11 ceremony this morning. I think it's the first one I missed because I have to be in court. It's not a legal holiday, so of course didn't excuse me. But I thank the council president for his gracious representation of all of us. I mean, we all have a lot to do, but I think two of the institutions that do a lot for us will be celebrating their partnership with us this weekend. So I think that if you can all make it, I know that the Clean Ocean Action will be at the park this Saturday morning, and also the Boys and Girls Club, believe it or not, is celebrating their 10th anniversary here in Red Bank, and it was that's also Saturday morning. So I think it's a gracious effort if we can all get there. But I think that that's an extraordinary partnership between members of the governing body and a not-for-profit, where we took a gin mill that was closed many years ago, and we turned that gin mill into a safe haven creatively for our boys and girls, with the assistance of the Boys and Girls Club. So that's a kudo for.
Very good rate to be community center.
That's right. And so we were told by the naysayers that experiment would not last after 6 months. Well, here it is 10 years later, they're going like gangbusters. And not only that, the kids are absolutely phenomenal. And they had me in their school 2 times for lunch, for bologna and cheese lunch sandwiches with them. And it was great. It was the tastiest lunch I had in a long time at the place. So I'm going back again. Yeah, they invited me. So thank you all. We also have, you've all been provided with these special events recommendations. They are numerous, and there's no reason why we can't move on them en masse. Is there a motion? Second? Second. All in favor? Okay. Any members of the public have any comment with respect to any issues? Just come up, state your name, your address, and we will try to address those.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Adrienne Balau, 266 South Pearl Street. I'm here to thank the council because they did the markings on my street today. Thank you, Eric, or whomever did it. So the parking will be maybe better. People will pay attention to where they're supposed to park, and we won't have anyone blocking my driveway or any other persons on our street's driveway. But I also wanted to talk to you about the train station. We have a bust of Count Basie that's down there, and it is hidden. I had some friends down from Harlem and actually went to Two Rivers to a play, and he's a jazz musician, and everybody knows Count Basie's from Red Bank. So I said to him, I said, oh, there's a bust over there. And I almost thought it was gone because of the overgrowth and everything that's there. I don't know, I've asked a couple of council members if it's New Jersey Transit or if it's Red Bank who put it there. I have no information about it, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I think it's something that we should look at, possibly, find out if we can spruce it up a little bit, move it, or so it's right there so people can see it.
Thank you so much for your comments. That is actually was the New Jersey Transit project as part of their redevelopment and rehabilitation of their facilities. That was done many years ago, and as you probably know, they also did the Triangle, which is at Bridge Avenue and Monmouth Street, which nobody can see because of the overgrowth. I will call their liaison tomorrow morning and make sure that it's attended to on a regular basis.
Actually, I've already spoken to Adrian.
Yes, I'm sorry.
When we spoke at the Parks and Rec Committee, I already spoke to Z about it, and he was going to follow up.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
And Adrian, lastly, I think you can thank Cliff Keen and the DPW crew for striping the
Yes,
street.
thank you. Well, we talked a while back, so it's happening, so I appreciate that.
I don't have to call, it's already been done, thanks. Anybody else?
And we don't need to call anymore.
Yes, Mr. Point.
Good evening, Bill Box Tour.
Can't hear you, Fred.
Good evening, P.O. Box 2074. Mr. Miller, I missed the workshop meeting, but I didn't know if you discussed the parking on the streets. There's a lot of people.
You're talking about the residential parking? Mr.
Yes.
Boyd? That was not on the workshop agenda for this particular workshop. The council's reviewing that matter and we'll probably have a recommendation soon. But that was not discussed earlier.
But I mean, how soon, you know, I just want to know so I can get back to let the people know. How soon do you think you will, you know?
When's our next workshop, Fred? I'm sorry? Oh, the first week in October. Yeah, she wants to know the date. Yeah, it wasn't. We had so much stuff tonight. It was just October 2nd, my mother's birthday.
All right. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, this is Tamara Kramer, 95 Locust Avenue. This is regarding the Bellhaven Nature Park Preserve. I have a couple points that came up and was brought to my attention through a posting regarding today's resolutions or tonight's resolutions. And they showed a concept drawing from 2017, which had way more additional equipment than had been agreed upon by those who had been invited to the last meeting regarding it, that we as residents had thoroughly, agreed upon, thought it was a great compromise, and thought it was a done deal. Now we're seeing, and in fact I have that picture if anyone wants to see what we had discussed, what had been presented at that time. It had been, I think, a deck, a couple benches, boulders, rocks, some net climbing underneath the deck, and rubber surface under there to obviously protect the children.
That's what it is. Nothing's changed since that meeting.
Because what's coming up on every site is your 2017 concept drawing with all these things putting in as improvements as funds come up, and this is what's still being generated. So I wanted.
But who's generating it?
Are they on borough website?
We're talking about the borough website.
Whenever you pull up, I'm just putting you what's out there. So that's why I'm here to clarify.
No, but
that's all.
That's why the official borough website is the borough website. A lot of people put up a lot of stuff, but the
And somebody did say it was a 2017 rendering, the one I was showing that we had thought was a great compromise with everyone.
That's still it.
Okay, because it showed like other things, like a 1 to 5 year plan, and I just wanted to make sure that what was shown to us at that time wasn't okay. This is what's going in now, but later, as funds come available, these are going to be the implements being put in. So that was a basic reason I'm here.
Well, thank you for being here. But again, a lot of things put up a lot of things on private websites and that look like they're official, but the only official one is the borough website.
Well, yeah, they were taken from, it was a Red Bank Green, and it had notified what was coming up. And again, they could have pulled an old concept.
Right, thank you.
All right, so I'm glad to hear that it's as it is, fabulous. And if I have one moment left, this would probably deal with Cliff. The access road that was put in, they're put in a whole bunch of tree plantings and other plantings. Christine Ballard at that time had said there would be 100, I can check with zoning what was approved with those plans, 100 plantings, 2.5 caliper trees. We even specified which holiday became agreement, because of the deer and everything else. They ended up putting in less than 50 small little bushes this big, which does nothing to block our residents. It's like, hi, nice people walking by, but and not also for the full duration of the property. They had put in numerous trees. 1/3 of those trees are dead already, completely gone, and 1/3 are on their way out. Now, when I did notify the Shade Committee in Cliff, they had not been informed at that time that whoever had been hired and contracted to do that had implemented those plantings. So, but there were no water gators on them. There was only 2 water trucks gone by. We've been watering the little teeny shrubberies out of our own time, which takes about an hour, and our water bill, because obviously it behoves us as being the residents, but again, it's put up on us. And I'm concerned about here these monies coming out that we're paying for and you wanted, and I don't know if they've been signed off on or not, but it is, if you take a look, and I have the pictures, they're in extreme, like a whole bunch have to be replaced. And my property itself needs the additional plantings, and they're not the agreed upon plantings. Because 2-inch caliper, they're not big, but they take planting well. Instead we got this, like this big.
Thank you.
Very small. All right, thank you for your time and for that first clarification. I really appreciate it.
Anybody else? Yes. Mr. Poku.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm glad the Superintendent stayed, and he mentioned economy of scale when he did his presentation. And just so I'm within the 5-minute limit, I've written what I'm saying to the Council tonight. Earlier this year, 2019, the governing body of the Borough of Red Bank was addressed at a council meeting concerning a pressing issue in the borough's West Side community. School children traveling back and forth between the projects and the primary school do not have access to a sidewalk on the southbound lane of Tilton Avenue between Bank and Dr. Parker Boulevard. And I have referenced yes, https://u2.be/9j-050RO capital N0. Anybody that wants that YouTube link will be able to get it. In addition, postal and utility workers walking west towards the river on Bank Street have to exit at some point to walk on the street. Lastly, the public access on the far west end of Bank Street is not accessible by sidewalk, and children ride their bikes in the street. The danger for pedestrians without access to sidewalks is heightened during inclement weather when ice and vehicles may be present in the roadways. Fortunately, it just happens that a road crew arrived 1 week ago to replace existing ramps to sidewalks on the entire spread of Tilton Avenue, which runs 3 blocks between Sunset and Catherine Streets. Recognizing the opportunity to revisit the sidewalk issue, a few attempts have been made to connect with some members of the governing body to find out the duration and scope of the Tilton Avenue project and whether it could include the needed sidewalks for the full and safer access between points of interest in the neighborhood. I am writing to the press due to the apparent lack of communication between the borough and the residents affected by the current project. My hope is that the borough will learn about the issue and take advantage of the setup costs already in place and expand the scope of the current job for maximum return on the investment, and using the superintendent's words, economy of scale. Mr. Mayor, I was here in July and I made this presentation and I provided a little bit of a map of the area, aerial view. I've sent this writing over to 2 River Times. Maybe they might print it. But trying to figure out tonight, was anything done with the request in July? Is it something that mayor and council might want to address concerning the issue?
Thank you for your comments. We don't have it before us tonight. We won't be addressing it tonight. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. We have a need for an executive session. Is there anything else that has to be added before we? Okay. Is there a motion to close the public session? Second. All in favor? And we.